What's up, everybody? How are you? Now, how are you and yourself? I'm asking you all individually. I'll go around. I'm only joking. Look, how are you? Hope you're all well. Great to have you in. Loads to get through as always. Now, bit of a warning. You know, I'm somewhat of a realist in the transfer world, so if you're coming in expecting Uncle Craig to be sitting here and talking about Mbappe and stuff, then, you know, you're going to be a little bit disappointed. But if you come in and we be realistic, we'll have a little chat together and we'll talk about what might actually happen in this window. I see Jordan Henderson, El Capitan, Agent Jordan, out there with Jude Bellingham doing bits. Good man, Hendo. See, I've already contradicted myself. That's how quickly I can do it. How are we, folks? Lovely to see you all in. I think I can finally say now, a lot of you probably seen it earlier on, at least a host of you did. I did say to you yesterday that I would be doing stuff cross-platform for the Euros. Delighted to say I'll be doing some stuff with Mr. Goldbridge and a few others over on That's Football. So you'll see me on Anfield Agenda for some Euro stuff. I'll be on That's Football for some other stuff. Great to be part of the team for the tournament. Really looking forward to it. The kick-off show that we did today. Oh, kick-off, bit of a slip of the tongue there. The show to kick it all off today that we did was good fun. It was nice to have a little bit of a battle of wits with Mark, and that's just a taste of what's to come. How are we all? What have we got in the chat? Right. Saw you on Mark Albridge's channel. Enjoyed the stream. So did I, mate. I had loads of fun. Really, really lovely people. It was nice to get to meet some of the guys I'd never chatted with them before. Obviously, I have with Mark. But yeah, it was good fun. Thank you for watching, by the way. How's it going, said Paul? All good, dude. All good. Right. As always, ladies and gentlemen, you probably know how the format works on here. We have a conversation. You tell me who you want to talk about. I give you any little bits that I may have on it. I ask you for your help. And we come to a conclusion at the end that we all hate MSG and we're broke. Great. Every night will be the same thing. Pellegrini and Daka news. Right, so there is a little bit around Pellegrini. A couple of things. Firstly, it's believed that Barcelona are also interested in the Roma player. And secondly, I think he's been ruled out of the Euros, or he's been sent home with an injury or something along those lines. Does that mean that his future will be resolved? I don't know. We know he has a €30 million release clause. And we know he doesn't look like it's part of the plans at Roma because he's got 1 year left and apparently he doesn't want to sign a new deal. So will we see a bid go in? I'm still sceptical of it, I have to say. He doesn't initially strike me as somebody I think Klopp would go for, but you know, that is just a personal opinion, ladies and gentlemen. And you know, maybe I've been burned with the Alberto Aquilani stuff and the Little Prince when he came in, when Rafa. To this day, I'll still never understand why he moved Xavi Alonso on. I know he wanted Gareth Barry at the time and all that, but Pellegrini, for me, you know, I've started to watch more highlights of him and a few bits and pieces. I'm not convinced. I'm not. Even at that price, I'm still not convinced. I'd rather go elsewhere, if I'm being honest. Thoughts on Tielemans? Again, a lot of talk around Yuri Tielemans, and I've noticed one trick, by the way. I have to cough. I'm going to mute my microphone. Sorry, guys. 1 second. I don't want to deafen you all. 1 second. Excuse me. It's what happens when you get old. There's one consistent thing I've seen around Yuri Tielemans, and I'm a skeptic about this, by the way. So let me just put it out there and see what you guys think. A lot of the talk from the clicky type sites has been Yuri Tielemans' future not to be resolved until after the Euros. Now, that could absolutely be true. I mean, very, very plausible. But the content creator side of me, the person that, you know, wants to get people to our page, makes me think that just means that they can keep banging the links of Yuri Tielemans to Liverpool right throughout the Euros and probably on his holidays afterwards. So, you know, do I think that we have an interest in him? I think a lot of clubs around Europe are probably tracking and interested in Yuri Tielemans. But I still am very suspect that we would pay the amount required to get Leicester to part with the player. Because Leicester don't get bullied in the transfer market. They usually get top dollar for their players. And if there's one thing that we'll all agree on that we don't really do, it's pay that. We don't pay over the odds, or we don't pay mega bucks. Now, there is some stuff on Sancho I want to get to as well, by the way, that may make it a little bit clearer as to why we're not really in the race for Sancho, and I think I'll give you that reason in a couple of minutes' time. What else have we bought? How the hell are you, Craig? What your take on Daka to the mighty Liverpool? I still can't find out, Andy, my man, if there's any truth to it. Now, as I said last night, and I can only repeat what I said before, for a gentleman that has been given time away from the Zambian national team to resolve his future, it's been very quiet around his future. There are three different trains of thought that I've spoke about before. There's the he's going to come to Liverpool, there's the he's going to go to West Ham, and there's the he's going to go to Leipzig with Jesse Marsch, who's moving in to take over the managerial job there, and that's been a path well trodden before by other players leaving Salzburg who go up to Leipzig before moving elsewhere. So I honestly still can't get an answer from anybody, and I haven't got a clue about Patson Daka, where he'll end up. It is very, 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 very hard to find out any information. Pedri, right, no problem. Let's talk about Pedri. So it's going to be very short and sweet, I'm afraid. One, we all agree that Liverpool don't pay top dollar, I think, at this moment in time. And one, I don't think Barcelona will want to cash in on Pedri. I could be wrong on that one now, you know, I could be. But 70 million quid, I don't see it. For an 18-year-old, I mean, it seems like a lifetime ago, but there was one point where we refused to pay £10 million for an 18-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo because we thought that was over the top. So will Klopp really go out? I mean, look at who's available. If you're looking at the 18-year-old bracket of players that are available this summer, you mean you've got Gravenberch, who's in and around that age at Ajax, would be considerably less. You've got the kid, the young French guy. No, I can never think of this guy's name. Not Soumare, the other guy. Who's leaving, I think Ron, whose contract has run down, got 1 year left to go. There's a lot of really good talent out there that can probably be got for a lot less money. So I don't believe the Pedri link for 1 minute. As bad a shape as Barcelona are in financially, I don't see it. I mean, you're going to want to move on your older players if you're Barcelona. The players that are on the high wages, not the young talent who could potentially end up saving you a lot of money. So I don't really buy into it, to be honest. It just seems like another one to get clicked. Yes, Camavinga, thank you. Thank you very much. See, this is what I said at the start of the stream. I come in, talk, and you bail me out. That's the way this works, because you guys are always much more knowledgeable around this type of stuff than me. And yeah, Camavinga, another player who Didier Deschamps has spoken really highly of, and somebody who I think PSG have got an eye on as well. Right, let me get through as many of your comments as I can. Somewhere in me feels we won't be making any signing. I might be wrong, said Mervyn. I think we will, Mervyn. Obviously we've got Canale do that's done, but I really feel as downbeat as I am about the amount of money that we'll spend, I think that we'll look back on this window, and this is just my opinion, I think we'll look back on this window in 6 months' time and we'll have another one of these conversations about, at the time, a lot of people thought that this was a bit of a signing, but it ends up being really good. So I feel that whoever we sign, and I am optimistic we'll get 2 or 3 more players in the door, I think we'll look back at them like we do with Sadio Mane, with Mohamed Salah, with Diogo Jota, and think, wow, we did really good business there. And it might not initially be the wow factor that the likes of a Sancho and a Mbappe, a Haaland could be, but I think long term, again, we'll uncover gems and we will do very good business and it will strengthen us. And that's the most important thing at the end of the day, isn't it? That we go into next season and we address the deficiencies that we've had. Yeah, we can look at what the others are doing, but at the end of the day, all Kloppo can really control is how our players go out on the pitch and what they do. So, you know, I back the manager, I back Michael Edwards. I absolutely don't back the owners because, you know, for me, as I said yesterday, there's no coming back from the Super League stuff for me. That was just the last straw. But I do think we'll do business, and I think it'll be good business, but I don't think it'll be the most glamorous business initially. I hope that makes sense. Opinion on Benitez to Everton. I actually had a conversation with Connor around this earlier on, and I have to say, you know, initially you'd go, how dare he, no, not Rafa to Everton, but there's a couple of things to take into account. Do I think it'll happen? Probably not, but let's work on the basis that it might happen. So if Rafa Benitez goes to Everton, does that taint his Liverpool legacy? Do you know, after thinking about this for a few hours, I have to say my initial instinct is no, it wouldn't. And here's why. We know Rafael Benitez and his wife love the city of Liverpool. They've always kept their home, I think it's on the Wirral, and they love Merseyside. They absolutely love it. It's where they call home. It's where their kids were raised. It's where Rafa loves. So he's always been really good to the city. The donations he's made to the Hillsborough campaign, And I think Rafael Benitez is one of those figures that could cross that divide, that will always be looked upon fondly. And it's not his fault that the Liverpool job isn't there, because clearly he'd run over hot coals to get the job. But for me, if the worst came to the worst and he did take over at Everton, it wouldn't taint his legacy in my eyes, because I absolutely love Rafael Benitez. I love everything about the man, his character, what he did for the city, what he did for our football club. That night he gave us in Istanbul. I've had the pleasure of sitting in an audience while he gives a tactical masterclass as well. And, you know, while it wouldn't be great, I think it would be because he would love the city. I really feel that that's what it is. But either way, he'll always be a goddamn legend to me. And I'll never have a bad word to say about Rafael Benitez. Never. Craig, do you think we will sign a winger or a striker this summer? You know, Chris, I'm greedy and I'd like us to sign both, but I think it'll be a striker. And the reason I think it'll be a striker, not a winger, is because of Harvey Elliott. So obviously we're getting Harvey back, and you know, there's high hopes for him. I don't want to put too much pressure on him, but this is just what I'd like to see. I'd like to see somebody brought in, as well as a striker, somebody who can play between the lines, somebody who can find a little pocket of space, a David Silva type. Now, amazingly, there had been a link put out there today linking Liverpool to Bernardo Silva, and they went as far as to say that they'd actually made contact with his representatives and stuff. I don't think that's the case, if I'm being honest. I think if Bernardo Silva is moving away from Manchester City, it's most likely because, and this is just me guessing, he hasn't settled right, or you know, maybe the weather's getting to him, maybe he wants to go back to a sunnier, warmer climate. I don't know, but personally, I'll never get over the whole guard of honour thing with Bernardo Silva. I mean, I lost a lot of respect for the fella that day, so I don't think there's any truth to that one either, to be honest. Nor why would Manchester City sell to us as well at the same time? So I don't think there's any legs to that one. Chris, you missed a super chat. I said best channel on YouTube. So sorry, my man. Yes, you did. There it is, Carl. Thank you. Best channel on YouTube. Mate, you have no idea how much that means. Honestly, thank you so much. But it is only that, if it is that, because of you guys. I say it time and time again. It's easy for me. I'll come on here, I talk, I read out comments. It's really straightforward. But it's you guys. It's your warmness to other people. It's your interactive nature. It's your kindness that makes the channel what it is. So give yourselves a massive pat on the back. And you never need to say anything like that to me, because I'm well aware that you guys are the stars of this show, really. Right, what else have we got? I've got stuff that I could talk about, but you know, I'm always wanting to go into your comments and steer the conversation the direction you guys want. Love the evening talks, Craig. You know what, mate? So do I. And I was really nervous this week because, you know, as I touched on before, I hate coming on and being the bearer of bad news, because I'm an optimistic person at heart, and I like to spread positive vibes out there. But I refuse to lie to you. I'm not going to come on and talk about transfers that aren't going to happen. So it's been very difficult trying to balance making sure that I come on and do the streams, because it's my favourite part of the day. I love doing this, and not wanting to be negative, because you know, a lot of people have high hopes and high aspirations for the business that we'll do. And the only question that I ask myself at the end of every single transfer window, and since I've been an adult Liverpool fan, I've always asked myself this same simple question: have we improved the overall squad at the end of the window? Are we stronger than we were before the window? If the answer to that is yes, then I'm usually fairly happy. Now, to get back around to Jadon Sancho, it's been reported by a fairly prominent Manchester United account on social media that Jadon Sancho was going to be earning £350,000 a week at Manchester United, or maybe a little bit in excess of, over a 5-year contract, which roughly works out at about £21 million, on top of the maybe 100 or 90 to £100 million transfer fee. So that's the 350,000 reasons why we're not in for Jadon Sancho, because that would smash our wage structure open. And if we're going to smash our wage structure open, it would make sense to do it for a certain Frenchman, wouldn't it? I mean, if you're going to be paying 400, 500 grand a week, and you're going to disturb the dressing room and maybe put a few people's noses at a joint over wages, you know, you'd want to be doing it for an absolute superstar. And look, I'm a fan of Jadon Sancho as a footballer. He's a tremendous talent, but Would I be happy of him coming into Liverpool on 350 grand? No, I absolutely would not. I think that Mohamed Salah deserves that. Virgil van Dijk deserves that. Alisson deserves that. Fabinho deserves a pay increase. So, yeah, I just, that's, when I seen that today, I just thought, we're never going to pay that. We're just not going to pay him that money. Craig, what do I think about Gini joining PSG? I've been very upset at some of the negative comments towards Gini. And look, it's always hard to know who these negative comments are from, because at the end of the day, they're just average people on Twitter or Instagram commenting on it. But my own opinion on Gini is this: if Liverpool put a contract on the table that was 3 years long for Gini, on less money than he's getting at PSG, I think he would have signed it. And I think he's made that as clear as he can. Now, the fact that he signed for PSG, I've no issues with that. I wish Gini Wijnaldum all the best. Gini Wijnaldum's been a part of our success, and he's seen out his contract. So I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. People are saying grabbing the money, Gini Wijnaldum. I think these are ill-informed people. If you push aside the Liverpool part and talk about just the money part of it. So he was willing to go to Barcelona at one point. That looked like it was going to be done. But then Mauricio Pochettino made it known that he was probably going to be staying at PSG, and Gini Wijnaldum spoke to Mauricio Pochettino previously, before he joined Liverpool. He spoke to Mauricio Pochettino about working with him, and he likes the idea of working with Pochettino as a manager. And he is also going to add a good bit of strength to that midfield. So for Gini, looking around, seeing Neymar, Mbappe, Verratti, I mean, I can understand why he made the call. And what the man's getting paid is, you know, still to my, probably what he's worth. So I don't get it, and I don't get the hate towards Gini, and it makes me a little bit sad, because he was nothing but an absolute pro at our club. And I'll always think back, I'll never ever not have the Gini Wijnaldum. That will always be in my head forever. Gini gone to secure his bag. I respect that, said Fahim. Exactly. You know what I mean? The man, Paris is a damn nice city to live in as well, but the man has got a family, he's got to secure his future. Football careers are relatively short. And, you know, Gini wants to go to PSG. I wish him all the best. You know, we play them, we'll want to destroy them, as he will us. But after that, nothing but respect. Barca fan in the chat, Pedri is staying. I said the very same thing, dude, and I'm a Barca fan myself. I've said this numerous times. Liverpool are my club, but Barcelona are the only other club in the world that I pay attention to and watch, you know, with any type of emotion. And I agree. I think Pedri will 100% stay at Barcelona. I don't believe the links to Liverpool. I think it's nonsense. There was a couple more things I needed to get through. Another super chat there. We need a central attacking midfielder, and then a centre forward, and I'll be happy, said Rob Shepherd. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you there, Rob. I think most of us would be very happy if we ended the window with those positions as well as Canade strengthened. One more super chat I want to get to before I miss it as well, from Charlie Fisher. You think Virgil will be back to his best after the ACL? Always impossible to know, but you know, with every year that goes by, the type of surgeries for ACLs, like, it used to be a career ender, you know, 20 years ago. So, you know, medical advances and stuff always make both the recovery and the strength of the operation, or the joining of the tendons or whatever it might be, or the ligaments, that bit better. So I have no doubt that Gini will not be rushed back, that he will have seen the best post-operating team in the world, the best medical people in the world. He will have been operated on by one of the leading doctors in the world. And yes, I do, because of his physique, feel that he will be back to his best. But, you know, the proof of the pudding will be in the eating, so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it's Big Verge, isn't it? He's a machine. Premier or Champions League next season, pick one. It's very easy for me, Carl. I'm going to repeat what I say every year. To me, it goes like this: European Cup, Premier League, League Cup, FA Cup. And yeah, I did say League Cup because I have a soft spot for the League Cup, and I don't know why. But it's always Champions League for me. That's number one priority. I know people think that the league title's bread and butter. People want to catch United. I get all that. But I love European nights at Anfield. The European Cup it's our thing, I feel. So for me, I'd always edge the Champions League as the priority. Would I take Luis Alberto? I wouldn't, but I'm glad that Luis Alberto has gone on and had a better career. So with Lazio and stuff like that, it was good to see him do well. And but no, I wouldn't take him back. It would be interesting though if he does come back to the Premier League to some club to see how he gets back on and if he, if he would cope with the rigours of the Premier League. What else have we got? Again, mate. Stop asking about Coutinho. I mean, I've made. He's not coming back to Liverpool. I mean, I can't be any clearer than that. Right, what else have we got? Would I take Coutinho? No, absolutely not. Right, next one. Can you repeat what you said about Pedri? Absolutely, mate. No worries. I don't believe it. I don't believe Barca will want to let him go, nor do I believe that Liverpool would shell out 70 million quid for an 18-year-old in a summer where, there are a lot of talent available and we're being told we're not going to spend a lot of money on, any single player. So, no, I don't think that there's any truth at all to the Pedri stuff. Anfield agenda, what happened to the Dembele news? Gone very quiet, actually. I think I said to you guys before, he's got 1 year left on his deal. Barca will probably know that if they can't afford to keep him on, and look, the priority for Barca is of course sorting out Messi's situation, they may well have to take quite a substantial loss on Ousmane Dembele. And would I have him at Liverpool for the right money? Yeah, I'd take a punt on him, absolutely. Sancho, said Jeremiah, I'm almost certain he'll be at United, mate, at this point. I mean, talk of 350 grand a week wages being agreed, 5-year contract. I think it'll be down to them two sorting out a fee, and it looks like it'll be somewhere around the 90 plus add-ons, trying to bring it up to 100 million. So yeah, that's the reason why we won't be in for Jadon Sancho. There's no way we'll pay that wage. Okay, I'm trying to be nice to you, man. Okay, I'm just going to remove you from the chat, mate, because you're clearly a bit of an Amadon. Right, there we go. We move on anyway. Yuri Tillmans I've talked about a few times, Dylan, but I will touch back on it at the end of the stream. And there was something that caught my eye today that I wanted to chat to you guys about. So let me just open up my phone, because I've got a memory like a sieve. So, where is it? Maybe it was Connor that sent it to me. Yes, it was Connor that sent it to me. Right, so this comes from the Times Sport, so very reliable. Exclusive, the Premier League will introduce thicker lines to VAR offsides next season in a bid to deal with hugely unpopular marginal decisions. The thicker lines aim to give the benefit of the doubt back to the attacker. Now, I'm very cynical about this, because for me, yes, there are issues around the technology, but there are more issues around the idiots that are sitting in Stockley Park that are using the technology for me. So making the lines thicker, we'll wait and see how it works out. And anything that does benefit the attacking team, I'm always in favour of, because as football fans, we want to see goals. Goals is what sells the beautiful game. Goals is what gets people to fall in love with it. And, I want goals. I want that advantage to be given to the attacking team. So we'll wait and see how this thicker line system works. Also important to note as well that I think at the World Cup in Qatar, FIFA are going to be trialling, and I think a few other teams are trialling this as well. Maybe Liverpool are one of the teams that are trialling it in the Premier League at some point. But they're talking about an automated offside system that VAR are going to be using at some point. So basically it'll be like AI technology that lets them know in real time if someone's offside or not. So everything will be tracked via GPS, and apparently it's gotten a lot more high tech. So that's something that I think Arsene Wenger has spoken about before as well. Euros predictions. I've done them, mate. I actually went through earlier on 2 videos coming up. So one went out today, which was our preview with Leon and myself and Connor. And if you ever wonder what Connor looks like and you haven't seen him, go over and check that one out. But I also did a predictor where I went through the entire tournament and went through each group and said who I think is going to finish first, second, third or fourth, all the way through to the final and who wins it. If you want to do that yourself, you can go onto the UEFA website where they have a predictor. You can go through the tournament. I did it, I recorded it. The video is going to be out tomorrow at I think about 5 o'clock if my memory's right. Sterling return ? Said Dylan. You know, initially, mate, when I seen that, and I know I said earlier on around Bernardo Silva to Liverpool being really unrealistic as well, but it does look like Pep Guardiola may want to move on Raheem Sterling this summer. And Raheem Sterling's options, I would suggest, because of his wages, may be limited. What I would say is, of all the players that left Liverpool at the time he left, I understand why he made the move he made. You know, we're all unhappy when a player leaves. We all have our own anger about how they leave. But Sterling's very fond of Liverpool, and I think he would come back, but I don't think that we'd again ever get near the wages that he's currently earning at Manchester City. So I think a highly, highly unlikely. But I'm not in the camp that thinks he's finished, by the way. I know there's a lot of people out there that say, oh, he's finished. You know, he's a confidence player, and he hasn't got it at the minute. And he's, what, 26, 27 years of age, which is supposedly his prime. And, you know, his finishing leaves a lot to be desired at times. But, you know, I really did. Some of the moments we had with Sturridge, with Suarez, with Raheem Sterling at Liverpool were brilliant. And I still think there's a cracking player in there, but I don't think it'll be us that he comes to or we pay for. Thoughts on Divock Origi scholarship? I don't know too much about it, Philip, but I do know he has announced the scholarship, I think, for a university in Liverpool, which is brilliant. Fair play to Divock for that one. A classy gesture indeed, and you know, deserves all the plaudits that comes his way. So anything that educates people, helps people to bridge that financial divide, or you know, fair play to him. I know I want him to leave. I've spoken about that before. But you gotta respect that gesture. It's a very good thing. Why is Craig presenting without a shirt? I know, mate. I'm camo here. Do you know what I mean? You can't see me. Look, it's just a floating head moving all over the place. Do I miss prime Sturridge? I do a little bit, you know. Yeah. I mean, who didn't love a bit of the Sturridge dance? Wavy arms all over the place, and Daniel Sturridge in form. I mean, I had a lot of time for Danny Sturridge. I really did. It's such a shame about his injuries because, you know, just look back at that goal that he scored against Sevilla in Basel in the Europa League final. Okay, we lost it, but his goal, man, sensational. Thoughts on Pellegrini news? So for those coming in, the news that I have, the latest news that seems to be around Pellegrini of Roma, we know €30 million, £25.6 million is the number that seems to be the number that will get him out of Roma. Now, he's gone home, I think, from the Italy squad with an injury. Could that be maybe him sorting out future? I doubt it, because I don't think the Italian national team would give him that time away this close to the tournament. Don't forget, they're kicking off tomorrow night, so I'd say it's a genuine niggle or concern. Barcelona also rumoured to be interested in Pellegrini. And look, I won't lie, I think we can do better. I think we can do better than this guy from what I've seen. But I will admit my viewership of Roma has been limited. I've seen far more AC Milan, Inter Milan and Juventus than I will have watched of Roma. So I'm always nervous signing anybody from the Italian leagues. Ronaldo to LFC, said Vernon. I said this yesterday as well. He's the type of player that I think strikes me as a potential Klopp signing for a whole host of reasons. I've said before that Klopp loves somebody who's a diamond in the rough, or somebody who feels that they may have a point to prove, or that the best of them hasn't been seen yet. And I think Renato Sanchez is one of those players. Now, he's been linked to us. Do I know if there's any truth to those links? I don't. But I can understand the link. Unlike some of the links that are out there, Renato Sanchez is definitely one that I can see. He strikes me as somebody I believe Klopp will would feel he could mould to achieve what he's capable of, because he has undoubted talent. We signed Salah from Roma. Yes, I know, mate. Look, there's always going to be players that succeed, of course. I'm not saying every signing from Italy is going to be terrible. I'm just saying I feel a bit nervous when we sign players from Italy. But that's just me. You know, I don't hold my own probably ill-conceived fears against Liverpool. Anything on Gravenberch? The answer to most of the stuff you're going to ask me is no, because Liverpool keep their transfer business really, really tight these days. And as I've always said, if you're going to look for the leaks, look for them from the European side, because it's usually that side, that the other side of the deal, that leak it, not the Liverpool side. Craig, would I take Sabitzer? No, I wouldn't. I know he's available for about 15 million, but I don't think, again, that he's good enough. He's a good player. He is a good player, but can I see him coming into Liverpool and really making an influence on the squad and really pushing us where we need to be? Honestly, no, I can't. But again, a good footballer, of course, you don't get to the level he's playing at without being a good footballer, but I don't see him at Liverpool. I think this is more of his agent trying to attract interest in a player who looks like he wants to engineer a move away from Leipzig. Thoughts on Thomas Souček? Very good signing for West Ham. Great piece of business actually for West Ham, and somebody who's had a cracking season and been part of a really good campaign for West Ham. But do I think he'll move on this summer from West Ham? No, I think West Ham will keep him. Craig, you should do an OB in a bar sometime and get the fans on board. An OB? An OB. I don't know what that means, mate. Sorry. What's an OB? This is where me being a bit of a boomer comes into it, mate. Sorry. If you're talking about me doing like a live podcast or something in a bar, look, I have dreams, I have ambitions, I won't lie. There's a venue in Ireland called Vicar Street, and I've long had a dream that we have an end of season party there where we do a bit of a live podcast, a Q&A thing, maybe we have some music, maybe we watch the last game of the season together and we try and raise a few quid for charity. That's been a dream of mine since we started Anfield Agenda. It only holds about, I think Vicar Street holds about 1,400 people or something like that, but yeah, it's a dream, and look, you got a dream. But yeah, meet and greets, all that type of stuff, oh man, totally down for it. Love it. Love to meet up with everybody when the world gets back to normal and say thank you to all of you, and I'll make sure Connor gets around in, because I think he still has his communion money somewhere, and I genuinely mean that. I think he does. What about Savic? So Milinkovic-Savic, yes, the player that's always linked to the Premier League and never seems to move anywhere. So Milinkovic-Savic, good player, but I would say we have Marko Grujic, and I'm not saying Marko Grujic is Milinkovic-Savic, but I've always thought that Grujic, if he had come in and learned with Fabinho, trained with Fabinho, around Jordan Henderson as well, that there would have been a lot of potential there. So I don't think there's any truth to the Milinkovic-Savic thing. Stephen Porter, thank you so much for the super chat. My man said, would you take a chance on Tammy Abraham if the price was right? No, I wouldn't. I think Tammy Abraham is a mid-table Premier League striker. I think Villa was actually probably the ideal place for him at the time. Do you know what? I'm going to make a bit of a bold prediction, but I think you could see Tammy Abraham maybe at the likes of Everton, somewhere like that at some point. Is Adrian leaving? It looks that way, Andy. There's been no definitive answer to this. The ball seems to have been in Adrian's court around whether he wants another year. There's been a bit of chatter around today from a couple of sites as well that maybe Caoimhín Kelleher is going to stay put. And, well, he already is the club's number 2, but the plan had always been to go, gain him some experience and so he can show what he can do. But there's a little bit of talk that maybe he's going to stay now. So, I'd be more than happy if Caoimhín Kelleher was our backup goalkeeper this season. I think he's a far better goalkeeper than Adrian. And it will give, of course, Gianluigi Pittaluga time to continue his progression. Will you be making Fantasy Euro League? No, we won't, sorry. Savic is a lot more attacking. Yes, he is, but what I'm saying is I don't think he'll be coming to Liverpool. Now, when I say Grujic, obviously I'm talking about his physical presence, because Milinkovic-Savic is a big dude as well. And I just thought if that was the type of lad that we wanted, I'd much rather a little fleet-footed guy, somebody like a David Silva-esque type player to drop between the lines. If we're looking at that, Houssam Aouar even, somebody of that kind of talent, rather than a Milinkovic-Savic, who is a very good all-round midfielder, as you've said, and certainly does know where the goal is. But I don't think it's what we need. Craig, do you think Nico Williams will have a good Euros? Yes, I think, and I hope he silences a lot of doubters, by the way, Nico Williams, because a lot of people don't seem to believe as much as others in Nico's ability. I think anyone that doubts Jurgen Klopp's judgment of the lad, should question themselves. And I hope Nico Williams has a fantastic tournament, and I hope Wales have a really good tournament as well. But yeah, I do. I think he'll have a very good Euros. And thank you, Joel, for the super chat, by the way, mate. Again, I said this before. I'm going to say it again. I thank you for the super chats. It's really appreciated. But if you're not a member, rather than sending a super chat, I think for yourself, it would be much better value to sign up and become a member of Anfield Agenda FC, which is our membership here on the channel. So for your $4.99 a month, you get into our Discord group, which is where we talk about stuff offline, and I'm on there pretty late at night as well. You get the Anfield Agenda badge beside your name. That changes colour the longer you're with us. You get use of all the cool emojis that Chris Legit has just put into the chat there now as well, and a few other bits and pieces. So, I like to try and make sure you guys get value, because I know it's your hard-earned money, and it's very much appreciated, but, I feel like I'm trying to talk myself out of money here, but I want to see you guys, get value, and I like to get to know everybody. So if you're in the Discord group, I'm in there all the time, so it's fun, and the people in there, you really do get to know them, and it really adds to the family vibe here on the channel, which is what we are all about, is building a community of footy fans. I would love to see... who would you love to see at Liverpool this summer? Excuse me, Luke. The Daka thing, sometimes I'm afraid to commit and say, yeah, I want this guy, because you may end up getting hurt or with egg on your face. But I really do think Patson Daka is a gem, and I think that he would be a hit. I really do. I also like the idea of somebody like Houssam Aouar. I also... like the idea, there's so many good players out there, and when I'm put on the spot I always forget about a list, and then I come off the stream and I go X, Y and Z. I know I spoke about Neto before. He has an injury. Rafinha, I still don't think it's plausible, but would I have him? Absolutely. He'd be right up there near the top of my wish list. Other than that, there's not really any... I'd love Lautaro Martinez, but again, I don't think Liverpool will pony up that kind of money. It looks like Inter may resolve their cash flow problem by selling Hakimi, who has been linked to both PSG, I think, and Manchester City now as well. I think I'm going to become a member tomorrow. Thank you, dude. Mutz, how are you, dude? Said, would you sign Ben Knight, Craig, as a backup to Robbo and sell Tsimikas? I really like the look of him, the Irish Robbo. I'm actually really interested to see how Costa Tsimikas gets on this season. Klopp's given him a bit of a build-up and said that he's there now, he's ready, he's up to speed, he's fit, and let's see how pre-season goes. Let's see how he starts off next season. And I'd personally give him another season, mate, before we make any call. Robbo defo does need some resting at times, because he plays a whole lot of minutes, Robbo, doesn't he? Which is great, but we don't want him to burn out, of course. So I understand where you're coming from about making sure that we have a quality backup option. But I think it's too early to make that call on Costa Tsimikas when we've not really had a chance to see him play many competitive games. Isaac, Craig, or Andre Silva. Right, so Alexander Isaac is somebody whose name only really came into be linked to Liverpool in the last couple of days. Plays for Real Sociedad. You're going to get a good chance to watch him for Sweden at the Euros this summer as well. He's got quite good statistics, actually. I mean, I wouldn't be somebody who would have an in-depth knowledge of him, but from the little bit of research I did yesterday, I think 17 goals in La Liga this season for Real Sociedad. And somebody who I know a lot of you guys that play Footy Manager and FIFA and stuff say that, he's got a lot of potential there. A few Swedish people I've spoken to have high hopes for him as well. So could be another one of those diamonds in the rough that we spoke about, or potential superstar, mate. So it's a good shout, Vernon. Andre Silva, I've not seen much linking him with a move from, isn't he still at Frankfurt, to Liverpool. He strikes me as somebody who could probably end up in Serie A. Maybe he's already had a spell there, I don't know, but I've definitely not seen anything linking him. But there's always people in the chat every night asking me about it, so I don't know if I've missed out on something here, or if there's if it's just hopeful optimism from some Liverpool fans. Doku, Scott Gibbs said. Jeremy Doku, again, another one to keep an eye on at the Euros. One of you guys was kind enough to let me know a couple of days ago that he was shown around Liverpool, I believe, as a 16-year-old. And probably made the right decision to not sign at the time and go and, play in Belgium, and since has moved to the French League, if my memory is correct. And again, another player that you'll get a chance to watch at the Euros. Another player who's probably just coming into the point of his career now where I think we may revisit. So it's his numbers aren't huge, by the way, but there has been interest and long held interest there in Doku. So what have we got? Somebody said I missed the super chat. Stephen Porter. No, I didn't miss it, mate. I talked about Tammy Abraham already. If that was the one, Stephen. If there was another one, mate, sorry, but I've spoke about Tammy Abraham already. I did address Tammy Abraham. I said he was somewhere like Villa, or I could see him at Everton, perhaps. Luke, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, my man. There you go. That's it, Luke. You got it there. Straight in, mate. Enjoy. Hope to see you in the Discord group. If you are becoming a member tonight and you're looking for that Discord link, just jump onto the community tab of the YouTube channel and you'll see it there if you're a member. Robin, thank you so much. Really kind. $14.99 super chat. I mean, again, you don't have to send us money, guys. I'm happy to just sit here and talk with you. But, it's very appreciated, Robin. Thank you. So keep up the great work, Craig. Appreciate the daily graft. That's it, mate. It's not graft. That's the thing, Robin. It's a pleasure and something that I count my lucky stars every day that I'm able to do. The fact that people turn on and listen to what this idiot has to say is still baffles me, but I appreciate it and thank you. Right, what else we got? I've been watching Isaac since he was 16, said Elias. He has developed in a huge way, but wouldn't sign him for more than 50 million. Yeah, I think, am I right in saying that his release clause is 60 million euro? I think I remember that from our conversation yesterday. I don't know who that guy is, Louis, that you're asking me about, the striker, the target man type striker. I don't know anything about him, mate, sorry. Sai said, sorry I'm late, Pedri news. Basically, we've been linked with a 70 million quid bid for Pedri that I think is just more clickbait nonsense from people, and I don't believe that there's any truth to it. Opinion on Kanade, I think he's the best signing, said YGT. I agree. I think he's a fantastic piece of business. If you look into the numbers, I'll go as far as to say I think he's a better defender than Deo Upamecano. And 6'4", right in the area you'd like. Playing alongside Van Dijk, I mean, that's quite a tasty partnership with, of course, Joe Gomez as well, and I hope that he comes back to his brilliant best. So I agree with you. I think the price point for him was spot on as well, and I think he will add a lot to our defence. Now, he's not the finished article. I'm not going to sit here and say that he is. His passing can be a little bit suspect, particularly in the shorter range. He is very good at carrying the ball forward. He's obviously very good in the air, and he's not lacking any pace either. So will help us continue to play the high line that Jurgen Klopp likes to play. Fabio Vieira. Right, let me try and remind myself about Fabio Vieira. Sorry, you're gonna have to help me. I can't remember where the hell he's been linked from. But again, just a few little links, nothing that. See, I have a few journalists that I'm lucky enough to be able to make contact with, and they're always quite honest with me if they hear of anything. And Vieira is somebody that I'm going to lean on you guys for information on, if that's okay, because, again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you any lies. I don't know too much about the guy. In fact, I know very, very, very little about the guy. Porto, yeah, that was the club. Thank you. Porto player. If we're to look towards Portugal, and if we're to look to that league, I'd like to see us go in there and try and sign up that Pedro Goncalves guy, the guy that replaced Bruno Fernandes at Sporting Lisbon. He seems to be an unbelievable talent. Buyout clause, I think, is about 52 million. They want to extend his contract. But I don't know how this works, but even if they do extend his contract, apparently they can't increase the buyout clause for some reason. I don't know why. But that's a player that, I'd love to see Liverpool linked with. He's put in very good numbers for Sporting Lisbon, helped them to win the Portuguese league last season. So I'd really, really like the look of that guy. Bellingham was born to play for Liverpool. Dennis, that's two chews, mate. Choo choo. I'm fully on board the Jude Bellingham train. I've been banging the drum for, the last week or two now. I've seen Agent Jordan Henderson, taking more pictures with him today. Bellingham has spoken about his admiration for Steven Gerrard, and it doesn't take long to connect the dots, mate, and be wishful. But the same question will be asked. How will we afford him? How much will he cost? Will the owner splash out? I think wage-wise, Bellingham would be far more realistic from the likes of Sancho and stuff. I don't think that he'd be expecting as high a fee, as high a wage. But I do think maybe it's more optimism and hopefulness. But I have a feeling we'll be in that conversation next summer. That's genuine. And a few journalists that I've spoken to haven't pulled me up on it and haven't told me that I'm a madman, which they have done before. So I think there could be something to it, but it won't be this summer. Another interesting stance, by the way, from Dortmund has been that they've come out and said that they will not be selling Haaland this summer, which makes no sense because they've got a buyout clause that kicks in next year for Haaland that's €75 million, and they know that this summer that Roman Abramovich is probably willing to pay in excess of £100 million for him. So I think they'll sell him, and I think if Roman Abramovich wants him enough, he'll end up at Chelsea, and they'll pay the wages, they'll pay a fee that will get him out of Dortmund, and Dortmund will have to realise that, okay, keeping him for another season, he'll develop, but you're still going to lose him for €75 million. Why not cash in on him this year and get twice that? I'm loving the Jude and Hendo bromance. So am I, mate. So am I. Well played, Hendo. Well played. Craig, United fan here. Are you still hoping for Sancho? No. I'm fully believe he'll end up at United, mate. When I seen the rumoured wage as well of 350 grand a week, that's not a wage Liverpool are very likely to pay, mate. So, I think it's down to United just agreeing a fee with Dortmund, and if that can be done, I think Sancho is probably going to be a Manchester United player. Right, what else have we got? What do I think on Daka? I really, 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 really hope it's true, because it's an FSG signing in so many ways. So we know that Jurgen Klopp likes to go back to the Salzburg clubs or the Red Bull brand of clubs, Salzburg and Leipzig, because the influence and the way that their footballing philosophy is very similar to Jurgen's. And of course there are little tweaks here or there, but it's no coincidence that Liverpool go back to those particular clubs for players. So I think and hope that there is truth to it. The price point of around 25 million, it's a bargain if you ask me. 31 goals if I'm right in the Austrian Bundesliga this season, and I could be wrong on that now, I'm sorry if I am, but it's a fairly good return anyway. So I think he's a bargain, I really do. And I also think Zambia haven't qualified for the AFCON, so if that is the case, then we wouldn't be losing him. And he's represented by Freddie Kanude, former Premier League player himself, so I hope there's some truth to it, mate, but it's very quiet. You missed the super chat, lad, thank you. Do I think spending the £60 million on the Anfield Road end is worth it? From Mark Mighty Red. Thank you, Mark, for the super chat. And always happy to talk about infrastructure, mate. So do I think spending it is worth it? Yes. Anything that gets more Liverpool fans inside the stadium, to me, is worth it. And we all know how hard it is to get tickets to go to Anfield. It's getting harder and harder with every passing year. The more successful the club becomes, the more in demand those tickets become as well. And what really gets to me the most, Mark, about this is I hate to see local fans and non-local fans turning on each other over tickets, because I understand the frustration. They see a lot of fans, and it's been myself included at times, coming in, paying over the odds, having to go through travel agents, paying really, stupid amounts of money at times for tickets, because it's the only way we can get in. And to put this into context, the year that we won the Champions League in 2005, I think up until maybe the quarterfinals or the last 16, you could pay at the turnstiles. You could pay at the turnstiles to go in to watch Liverpool at that point. So those days are long gone. And do I think it's a good move? Yes, of course. Increase the capacity to about 61,000. It looks like a mini version of the main stand as well. And I don't know if many of you guys have ever had the misfortune of being in the upper Annie Road end the way it is now. it can be like looking through a post box if you're at the back of it. There's some very obstructed views from it. So I think it's a great move. I think 60 million, it's a good investment. And it definitely goes in the pro column for our owners. It definitely goes as a benefit. So yeah, I think it's worth it, Mark. And again, I know FFP isn't really a thing these days, but it is something that doesn't come into consideration when you take into account FFP and stuff, because it's an expense to add more income as well with those 7,000 seats. So yeah, I think it's brilliant. Craig's the best person ever. Watch you every day. Oh man, that's so nice, Connor. Thank you, dude. I'm not, like, I promise you, mate, I have my moments. Anyone who's seen me in watch-alongs knows that I can get a little bit temperamental, to say the least. But, you know, those are my worst moments and my best moments. But, you know, these type of things is just fun. It's a pleasure. I love sitting here. Where's the time gone? How on earth have I been on here 50 minutes? Nah, fuck that. I'm not going anywhere yet. You're going to have to stick with me for another few minutes, folks. I feel like we've got more to talk through. Who are you backing for the Euros? Said Owen. You know what? I don't know if if you ask who I'd put money on for the Euros, I actually put a sneaky bet on last night on something that caught my eye when I was on the Boyle Sports site. I had a little look. And by the way, Boyle Sports have some cracking offers on around the Euros, and they are the sponsors of our channel, and they do sponsor our watch-alongs and stuff as well. So if you're going to have a little punt, please, always gamble responsibly. That's the most important thing that myself and the folks at Boyle want to get across. But they are going to have their no-lose offer on all the England games. So if you want to sign up to Boyle Sports, say you haven't got an account with them, sign up to Boyle Sports, deposit a tenner into your account. If you were to put that tenner on, let's say, the first England game, and you lose it, well, firstly, for signing up and becoming a Boyle Sports customer and depositing a tenner and putting it on, you're automatically getting a free tenner bet. Sometimes more, depending on whether you're in England or Ireland. But also, if it loses, you're going to get it refunded as a free bet as well. And they have some other cracking offers on. They've got Italy enhanced to even money. Maximum stake of tenner for tomorrow night as well, for them to beat Turkey. So if you fancy Italy to do it, you can put a tenner on them at even money, which is a nice little enhancement there. So, you know, there is that as well. But the one I put on actually was, it was 14-1, and it was Kane to score 4, Ronaldo to score 4, and Lukaku to score 4. Now look, I know it sounds really simple me saying that, but I thought, why not? I stuck a sneaky tenner on it. I mean, nothing to lose there, really. Well, a tenner, but yeah, so there are some good offers on. And if you are going to sign up, please, if you're going to have a little punt, obviously, responsibility is the most important thing. Never bet what you can't afford to lose. But yeah, check out the Boyle Sports app, which is, you know, available on all good app stores. So there you go. There's my little pitch done for the good folks at Boyle. 24-hour stream, let's go. Oh, man. Do you know what? Someday we may just do that, but you know, I'm not going anywhere yet, so I don't care if the concurrent viewer numbers are going lower. Don't care. I'm having fun. I love chatting with you guys. Canade or Gomez? Start Canade or Gomez, or play 5 at the back, said K-Lol. I would say at the start of the season, if they're all fit, most likely it would be Gomez and Van Dijk, because Canade won't be up to speed yet. He won't have enough time to get to grips with the system. He won't have enough time to get minutes under his belt. So I would imagine if they're all fit, that would be the pairing. Long term, I genuinely don't know. It's up to those guys to fight it out to see who'll partner Big Verge. But can we play as a 5 or a 3 at the back? I don't think we've enough personnel at the minute to do that. If we were to play with 5 at the back, let's say 3 at the back, really, because we're talking about the centre backs here. I'd like to see one more. I'd like to see one more added in there just to give us enough depth. But instinctively, my mind says yes, because with Trent and Robbo already as wing backs and Klopp liking 2 midfielders in the centre, it is there. The option would be there. I just don't think we've enough personnel at the minute. So one more centre back, or maybe if he wants to keep Phillips or something, I don't know. But it is intriguing, and I think that the way Thomas Tuchel does it with Chelsea, it can be still entertaining. It can be defensively very stable. So yeah, I like the idea of it, and you know, maybe we'll see something like a Robbo in a back 3 at some point in the future, or something like that. But I think it's possible. I'll be interested to see if Klopp tinkers with it a little bit during pre-season and on any friendlies. I love the way some of you guys stick up for me in the chat, by the way. I was just reading Lem's comment there saying, exactly, leave the stream, Sean. I don't know what I've done to Sean. I didn't even see his comment. I'm a United fan, so I'm a bit biased, but just saying my opinion. You're entitled to your opinion, Sean. I've no issues with you having an opinion, dude. That's alright. Just be respectful of everyone and we're all good. I mean, some of my opinions people hate as well. It's alright, man. As long as you show respect to the other people in the chat, all good. Thiago isn't the flop. Oh, was that the opinion? No, I wouldn't say Thiago's a flop at all. We've definitely seen more of what we can expect from Thiago Alcantara towards the end of the season. He never really got the chance to play in the midfield he was brought in to play with because of injuries, COVID, injuries to other players, Fabinho having to drop back to centre-back. So, look, we signed Thiago for 4 years. We've had 3 more years to look forward to, and he is a quality footballer. So, yeah, and it's important to take into account as well here when you're saying the word flop, which is your opinion. 20 million quid, like 20 million quid. It's a no-brainer. Like, it's a great piece of business. Do I play football? If yes, what position? I don't anymore, mate. Look at me. I'm a chunky SOB. But yeah, I played it right through until I was 17, and I played as a goalkeeper. We need a backup to Salah with the AFCON. I agree, Luke. And potentially the Olympics. Has that been decided yet, by the way, whether Mo's going to the Olympics with Egypt or not? So I don't disagree with you, Luke. But what I would say is we won't sign somebody just because of the AFCON. That would just, I think we'll all agree, would be madness. But do I think we could do with another attacking body? Well, we've got Harvey Elliott. If Divock Origi moves on, I'd like to see him replaced with another striker. If Shaqiri moves on, I'd like to see somebody come in, maybe a Houssem Aouar, somebody, as I keep saying, to play between the lines. Do I think Liverpool is keeping Ben Davies? The word from the club is yes. My own opinion may have changed a little bit because I thought that he was going to head up to Celtic. He was supposed to sign. His contract was running out with Preston when we signed him. He was going into the last 6 months. So he was about to sign as a free agent for next year to go up and play with Celtic. And I had this belief in my own head that he had an agreement. And this is just me thinking out loud. That he might have had an agreement with Klopp that, look, we need a body in, mate. Come in. And look at what he was unfortunate with injuries and stuff. But again, if we were to move him on, I think we'd make a profit. If he's to stay, then Klopp obviously sees enough in him to think that he can help in the squad. And Klopp doesn't keep around bodies just for the sake of it. So if he's here, by the time the window closes, it's because the manager believes that he can bring something to the squad and to the team. So it's an interesting one because none of us have seen him in a Liverpool shirt. So we have nothing to work off whatsoever. Future for Naby Keita, sell or keep, said Razor Sharp. I would sell him for the right offer. And for those that don't think I'm a Naby fan, I promise you, I am. Right here behind me, you can't see it because of the green screen, there's a framed Naby Keita shirt on my wall. I posted a picture on Twitter just the other day of a Naby Keita shirt that I have. I really like Naby Keita. I was so hopeful when he signed for the club. I thought that he was going to be one of the missing pieces of the jigsaw. But it hasn't been working out. We've seen flashes of what he's capable of. We've seen a lot of niggling injuries. And I wonder, is he just not able to settle? He's been linked a little bit to Leicester as well, by the way. And I don't know how true that link would be. But if the right offer came in, I think, personally, I'd be open to it. Because we need people who are going to be available. Because it's a long and hard, grueling season. And injuries have mounted up on us this year, and I think and hope that we learn from that moving forward. So yeah, look, I think Chamberlain definitely going to stay. Keita, but what would be the number? You know what I mean? What would be the number that may tempt Liverpool to sell, and would people pay it for him? But yeah, look, if the right offer came in, regrettably, I would say yes. What do I think of Kanade? I'm over the moon, Danny. Over the moon that we signed Kanade. I said it earlier on in the stream. I think he's the better of the pair that were at Leipzig. I think he's better than Dayot Upamecano. Both very good, by the way. Both very young, talented fellas. So, captain of the French under-21 side, obviously, that were knocked out of the Euros. But yeah, very happy with the signing. Very happy with the amount. I think it would look like a bargain in the long term as well. Just another good example of Liverpool doing clever business for me. Craig, DBS, Henry, Suarez or Torres all in their prime. Look, to me, I've said it before, I've never ever seen somebody more talented in person when I'm watching a game of football than Luis Suarez. I'm in awe of that man. I always will be. I love him, I love him, I love him. So, Suarez, always Suarez for me. The man could nutmeg a mermaid. He's absolute quality. Now, he's getting old, of course. I'm not saying I want him back in the club now, but in his prime, I mean, Torres was amazing. When he burst on the scene, that game against Chelsea, what a way to introduce himself to the Liverpool fans. But Luis Suarez, I mean, wow. Ben Davies, 100% clean sheet records. I mean, can't argue with that, Cave, my man. You can't argue with that. Naby against Madrid, I'm still angry. So am I, Si. I mean, so am I. It was a big call from the manager. And a call that Naby didn't repay. And I just wonder if that may have been a point in the gaffer's mind where he thought, and look, he'll never say this publicly because he always backs his boys publicly. And rightly so. But I wonder. Now, there's two trains of thought. Was it a big ask? Was it fair to drop him in? But again, you know, we paid a lot of money for Naby Keita and he didn't repay that faith in that particular game. So I was a little bit frustrated that night as well, mate, I have to say. Can anyone tell me what linked means? Surely you understand. Okay, I'm taking you at face value here, mate. You know, somebody who was believed to have been of interest to a football club in this particular context. Would I sell Origi and Shaqiri for Daka and Rafinha? Not only would I sell them, I would pay their airfares, get the Uber sorted for them, get them Rosetta Stone language lessons, whatever country they're going to land in, and they can have a night out on me as well. So I hope that answers your question, mate, because yes, forever yes, a million yeses would I swap them for Daka and Rafinha, 100%. I can see 5 years time Jude Bellingham captaining of the Reds scoring a hat-trick against Everton. Oh, Adam, I mean, as I said earlier on, double chew for the whole Jude Bellingham to Liverpool stuff. I'm on board. I'm fully on board that. Do I think Liverpool can win a treble or sextuple next season? No, I don't. I don't think we'll win a treble next season. Not with the competition that there is right now in the Premier League alone. You know, United going to go big. I'm not saying we can't win stuff, but I'm being honest and saying I don't think we'll be winning a treble. So, and by treble I mean the real treble, like a Premier League, a Champions League and a domestic cup, usually the FA Cup. So, you know, can we win stuff? Yes, absolutely, but I don't think we'll be winning a treble, unfortunately. But we're definitely going to be competing, but that's why we need to be clever in what we do this summer. What about Milinkovic-Savic? I don't believe it, Bob, is my answer. You know, somebody who's been linked with moves away for a very long time, and for some reason or another, those moves, I remember him being linked to United for a couple of years, and it just never materialised. So, you know, definitely a decent footballer, all right, but for me, not the type of player that I think we need at this moment. I'll stand by my point with Thiago, and Firmino, not good enough. Thiago, I agree, deserved a chance. Firmino is rubbish. You've said that's your opinion, Sean. Allow me to counter your opinion if you'd be so kind. Bobby Firmino is Jurgen Klopp's man on the pitch. I don't know what way you're judging Bobby, if you're judging him on his goal scoring tally because he has the number 9 on his back, but Bobby Firmino is the press. Bobby Firmino is almost the system at times, and Bobby Firmino is so important to everything that we do. The counter-pressing, the defending from the front, the creativity, the flicks, the genius, the madness. I would disagree. I think Bobby's a player that's massively underappreciated by opposition fans, and until you watch him week in and week out. Now, I'm not going to say he's had his best season. He hasn't. He wasn't good enough this season. He needs to up it. But I would argue to the death that Roberto Firmino is shit. Not a hope. Bobby Firmino is a damn fine footballer. Are we linked with Pedri? Yes, but it's nonsense, Eric, in my opinion. We're not going to go out there and drop 70 million on an 18-year-old. Nor do I think Barca will want to sell him either. As bad a position as they're in financially. Bobby is a baller. I don't care what any man says. Never doubt his off-the-ball work rate. Obviously, his skill. I agree. 100%. I don't... Bobby is, to me, the epitome of somebody who opposition fans don't appreciate. If you get to see that week in and week out, I think you'd appreciate him more. I love him. He's my favourite player at Liverpool. I've said it over and over again. He drives me mad at times with some of the little things he tries, but to say he's not a good footballer, you know, the man usually starts for Brazil. You know, Gabriel Jesus usually sitting on the bench. Gabigol usually sitting on the bench. Bobby Firmino, he's legit for me. And, you know, that you're entitled to your opinion, dude. I'm entitled to mine as well. Limo, how are you, Mr. Granby? It's been a while, buddy. Who would you rather see us bring in as a Genie replacement? I don't think we'll replace Genie Wijnaldum with a like-for-like Genie Wijnaldum replacement this summer, Liam. I think, well, I've said it, I'm going to say it again. Bellingham next summer, perhaps. I think if we are to add bodies in this summer, Klopp may look at midfield. I think we've got about 7 options. So if you look at midfield, we've got Fabinho, we've got Henderson, we've got Naby Keita, we've got Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, we've got Curtis Jones, we technically still have Marco Grujic, who else am I forgetting about in midfield? Thiago, of course. So we've got 6 or 7 bodies stacked in midfield there, and we only usually play with 2 and then 1 that roams a little bit further forward. So I think it's possible that we can go into the season without adding that number 8, let's say, and we can try a bit more creativity. But then again, you know, that hasn't been the system the Klopp has gone with, has it really? He's never really had that luxury player, a player that doesn't have a defensive role really in the squad, a player that gets licensed to just roam around, find space and do bits, like Coutinho was. But Coutinho was here when Klopp arrived. So we've not seen Klopp go out and buy that type of player, or at least utilise him in that type of way. Yeah, James Milner as well. Sorry, how could I forget James Milner? So yeah, I mean, we've got plenty of central midfielders. So I would like that player. I keep going back to it, but I really, 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 really think we need somebody who can play between the lines, and particularly against the low block, because yeah, we go long diagonal at times, we go over the top at times looking for the second balls, but what we don't really do is play through midfield. So I'd like to see somebody who can drop in and play 10 yards closer to our goal than the forwards and link up play. Blade, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC. My man, thank you. Newest member to the family. Look forward to chatting with you in the Discord group. I will scream if with I don't know what you're trying to say, nose, if Bellingham joins. Thoughts on Camavinga rumours? I've not seen any rumours for Camavinga outside of the fact that he's been linked to PSG, really. A really, really talented guy. Very young, 1 year left on his deal. I've not really seen any substantial rumours linking him to Liverpool. But I could have just missed them. Somebody do us a favour and get rid of the Almadon. That you know what annoys me most about that post there, mate, about that Coutinho post? It's the fact that you hadn't got the fucking decency to use a capital C in the man's name. That annoyed me more than you spamming it, if anything. What do I think of Elliott? Said Jake Barnes. I love him. I'm really looking forward to having Harvey Elliott back at the club. I was a little bit worried at one point that he had a bit of petulance about him. You probably remember seeing the video that was doing the rounds where Curtis Jones pulled him up on a penalty incident and basically pulled rank on him when Curtis Jones was still playing at underage level. But I think he's matured since then. He's a red through and through, loves the football club, will do everything to succeed at Liverpool, and I think we have got ourselves a superstar in Harvey Elliott. I really, really do. Craig, will Mbappe happen? Love the kid with a passion. Carl, every fibre of my body prays that there's going to be some momentous announcement that we've agreed a deal for Kylian Mbappe. But if you're to take the PSG president at his word, he's saying amazingly that not only will he not leave on a free, but they won't sell him. So either he knows something that we all don't know, or he's living in denial. I don't know. I would suggest they're going to offer him a shitload of money, which we know isn't a problem for PSG. But the question will then come down to, can he be guilt tripped into saying, like, you're the poster boy of French football, you can achieve everything you need to do here, Kylian? Or will he look and go, I want to go to Real Madrid, I want to go to Liverpool? We can afford the fee. How we go about affording his wages would be something that I can't compute. I can't get my head around. Don't believe that we're not interested, though. We are, and have been right from the time he was at Monaco. I said to you guys numerous times, John W. Henry flew him and his family around one of the bays, beautiful bays of France, in his private jet, trying to convince him not to go to Paris Saint-Germain, to come to Liverpool when he was making that move. And he went to PSG. And, you know, there's so many reasons why we should say no to this transfer as fans. So many. Most of them financial. But there's also so many reasons why you can see how it is a perfect fit. You know, you're talking about generational talent. You're talking about the Nike hookup with LeBron and, of course, our kits, which he has at PSG, of course, with the crossover stuff they do at Nike as well. You're talking about the fact that he spoke about Jurgen Klopp, his admiration for Liverpool, how he plays on free foot at Liverpool. But at the end of the day, it will be a huge change of direction from our owners, and something that we haven't seen before. So would I like it, mate? I'd be sitting here. No, I won't say what I was going to say. That's too rude. I'll be very happy, but I don't think it'll happen. But then again, where will he go? I mean, it seems to me that PSG are convinced that they're just going to keep naming numbers until he says yes. So whether that's 1, 2 or 3 Brinks alloy trucks, reverse them with €50 notes to his house, I don't know. But they seem very confident they'll get him to sign the new deal. Do I think Jota will be our main striker next season? No. And here's why. We could bring in a striker. I'm not saying we won't. But, you know, and I've said this numerous times again, often we see players reinvent their position a little bit as they age. Cristiano did it. Lionel Messi did it. Lionel drops a little bit deeper at times. Ronaldo made himself into more of an out-and-out striker. And I wonder if we'll do the same with Mo, if we'll end up putting Mohamed Salah through the centre. Because I don't want to say he's been found out on the right-hand side, because of course he hasn't. His numbers speak for themselves. But with Harvey Elliott coming back, with Diogo Jota there, with Mane there. And let's not forget, Mane's preferred position is on that right-hand side. He gave up that position when Mohamed Salah came in and was moved over to the left. So I'd like to see Salah through the centre, personally. But I'd still like to see a Patson Daka brought in as well. I just think he could do a job through the middle, particularly as he ages. Because if there's one thing Mo knows, it's how to put the ball in the net. 3 players he would sign, 3 would sell. Right, so sign Rafinha. I'm struggling with 3 because I don't think we'll bring in 3 unless we sell somebody else on. So we've got Canade. So 3 I'd bring in. Rafinha, Harvey Barnes, Rafinha, Harvey Barnes. Who else do I like to look of? Lautaro Martinez I'd love as well, if I was being really greedy. And 3 that I'd get rid of: Origi, Shaqiri, Wilson. And there's a few more. I think Larouchi's gone. I think his contract's ended up. He's moving on. And maybe a few of the younger players, but no senior players I'd imagine would be sold. Grujic as well, yeah, he'll be gone. And I think Porto were interested in Grujic. It's just a matter if he can make the numbers add up. I did read somewhere that they're about to sell a midfielder or something, though, which could free up a little bit of space there. Of course I'd go for Mbappe, mate. I'm trying to be realistic, Cave, though, with the answers I went with. How many players do you think we'll buy? As things stand, I can see 3, including Canade, so 2 more. But if we can move on the fringe players, and I don't like the phrase dead wood, if we can move on the fringe players, I think we may see another late one. Excuse me. Pedro Conclaves is another. I can't pronounce his name. I don't know how it's pronounced, but it's another great shout. Jake McBoss in the chat. How are you, buddy? Another great shout, and I would happily have him as well. Daniel Malin, another good shout from Jake. Daniel Malin, PSV Eindhoven, has that factor, that if factor about him. I can't put into words what I'm trying to say here, but I look at certain players and I see hunger and I see work rate and I see ethic and I see a certain thing that just makes me go, I can see him at Liverpool. And Daniel Malin does strike me as somebody who could be at Liverpool. Right, look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to say goodnight because the time's flown along. Here's what's coming up over the next few days. So tomorrow I am going to... What am I doing tomorrow? Tomorrow we're going to be doing the Euro. So myself and Jack Gill will be doing a watch along of the opening game of the Euro. So I hope you can join us for that one. On Saturday I'll be on That's Football doing a watch along of the Denmark game. And on Sunday, this is the one to put in the diaries, by the way. I'm telling you, this is going to be gold. Myself and Mark Goldbridge are going to be co-hosting together for the Netherlands game on Sunday. So get yourselves over to That's Football for that one. As I said earlier on in the stream, I will be working on That's Football as well as Anfield Agenda throughout the Euros. And did my first show on there today. Had tons of fun. It was a really good experience. So Sunday, myself and Goldbridge on That's Football. Don't miss it. It's going to be gold. And then, of course, tomorrow, myself and Jack Gill here for the launch of the Euros. Have a cracking weekend, folks. Lots of love to all of you. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for coming into our chat. And if those new members that joined tonight, hope to see you in our Discord group. But before you head off, one last thing. Check out our other socials as well. TikTok. I know a lot of you motherfuckers are on TikTok. Don't be lying to me. I know you're on TikTok. And as a living meme, I like to think that TikTok's a platform we'll do well on. So check out the Anfield Agenda TikTok account as well. Just search Anfield Agenda. Instagram at Anfield Agenda. Twitter at Anfield Agenda. And of course, our Anfield Agenda Extra channel on YouTube, which is where we put up much shorter videos. So it's clips from the streams that Connor puts up between, let's say, 1 minute and 6 minutes. They're always much shorter than the long form stuff we do on here. So the link to that is at the top of the live chat right now. Thank you so much, folks. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like on the video.